Few things are more interesting and enticing in a film than a good backstory. A bit of prologue, a bit of mythology really draws you into the film. And I think you could argue that no genre or subgenre does this better than slasher films.
I'd agree. I think it's what the whole premise is built about. Whether we're going back in time to Psycho, Black Christmas, Halloween, the famed Halloween prologue where a young Michael Myers stabs his fornicating sister and sister's acquaintance, and that kind of sets up the premise of Halloween. It's intrinsic to the genre, and it is something that filmmakers and writers have fun with. I always know when I go into a slasher film, I'm looking to that first 10 minutes. Sometimes it's even before the film has started, where the mythology is already being set in place to let us know why the events are occurring.
I've read online, and I think this is a quote that probably comes from some famous filmmakers, that if you can't grab your audience in the first, say, 10 minutes, then you don't really have them. So using a prologue, it's what sets the tone, it's what sets the mood of the film, it's what can bring the audiences in. That's why they're so essential.
Well, that comes down to the whole screenwriting technique, isn't it? An agent or a script reader will toss away your script if it is not engaging within the first 10 pages. And in screenwriting, 1 page equals 1 minute of screen time, approximately. So you have got 10, essentially, as you said, 10 minutes to grab the audience, or pretty much in this case, to grab the screen reader's attention. And if you don't do that, Wayne, well, you could well be fucked. So you have 10 minutes, and a slasher film does this all too well.
Don't even need that much amount of time. For example, one of my favourites in a film is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know this is a film I've praised over and over again.
Really?
But yeah, absolutely.
You're not talking about the Netflix one, are you?
Oh, God, no. No, this is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. See, the was just holding it back.
Okay, that was it.
But in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the John Larroquette narration at the start, while it is blatant lies, saying this is one of the most shocking murders in American history, yes, it's based on Ed Gein, but Ed Gein did not run around with a chainsaw. So it is creepy and unsettling nevertheless, because you introduce this idea this could actually happen. You talk about these people going out into this rural area, them being killed. It's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's creepy. It sounds fuzzy like a lot of the film does, but it immediately hits you with, wow, we're going to see something pretty special.
Well, they all grab your attention. It's like, look, this is the festive period, and we're all intrinsically watching, for the most of us ne'er-do-wells, Wayne, we're watching Christmas horror films, slasher horror films, and last night I was watching Christmas Evil for the first time in several years. And now the premise of this film, for the wider audience who's probably saw it, they probably love it. It's a great film. John Waters' his favourite Christmas film of all time. But some people may have not seen it. Now, the premise, the prologue of this film, Wayne, is a young Harry. Harry has a brother, Harry and Phil. But a young Harry goes down the stairs on Christmas Eve. He sneaks downstairs and he finds Santa getting freaky with his mother. Now, he feels rejected, young Harry, because he believes in Santa Claus, and he'll go on to think he's Santa Claus later in the film. But he feels so rejected, Wayne. He heads upstairs and he cuts his finger with broken glass. I don't know why he cuts his finger with broken glass.
Is that just like to snap him out of it or something like that? Like I just seen my Santa Claus making love to my mother. Like, how can I bring myself out of this horrible reality?
It's the weirdest kind of going downstairs and Santa mother love scene. Essentially, Santa is sniffing his mother's belly button. That's what it looks like.
Do you see this from like his point of view as he's coming down the
Pretty
stairs?
much, yeah.
Or like kind of from his perspective?
They don't do the POV. But we are kind of following him down the stairs, so we are essentially intrinsically seeing his point of view, but it's not a POV shot in the Halloween tradition.
Because killer POVs are used a lot in horror film prologues. Two of my favourites, Friday the 13th and Black Christmas. They have that voyeuristic approach. Like in Friday the 13th, you have the killer approaching the camp counselors. And that's good as well, because not only is it mysterious, you don't know who the person is, you don't know what these people have done, but it ties into later on, it ties into the whole motivation behind the killings. With Black Christmas, you establish the idea that the killer is always there and watching. He's looking through the windows, he's going around the house. Establishes this mood and this atmosphere, this idea that these people are never safe, even in the place where they feel like they should be.
Black Christmas is an episode we covered with the great Phil from Flixology 101, which, we'd done that throughout our October season, but it's essentially a Christmas episode. Christmas came a little bit early for In Film We Trust, both in meeting flicks and in covering Black Christmas.
I would say it's one of the best kind of festive crossovers because you've got the horror from October and then you've got the Christmas from December, just slammed together so well. Bob Clark, fantastic
But
film.
there is a great slasher film, Wayne, from the 80s. And now, when we're speaking about slasher films in general, most people go to franchise horror. It's Friday the 13th, it's Halloween, it's Nightmare on Elm Street. But there was a great, I think it was a one-off. If there was a sequel, well, that's my mistake. I believe it's a standalone, The Prowler. Now, The Prowler's prologue is set during World War II. And listen to this prologue. A woman writes a breakup letter to her boyfriend who is in combat during World War II. While attending her graduation dance with her new boyfriend, they head to Lover's Lane. A mysterious killer kills them both with a pitchfork, leaving behind a red rose.